All right, today we are talking about one of our plum varieties. That's up next. Hello everyone, this is Dwayne with Edge of Nowhere Farm, and we're coming to you here today. It's June 2019. So now what you see behind me here is a combination of two different trees. We have our pluary, which is really the tree we were going for, and then we have its pollinator, which is a Burgundy plum, which is what we're talking about today, and it's right here next to me. So now, why am I here next to two trees? Good question. I'm here because these are actually double planted, specifically because the Burgundy plum is the pollinator for our sweet treat pluary. Now I'll go ahead and link our sweet treat pluary video for you here so you can take a look at the harvest off of this tree, and it's the reason why this tree is actually here and exists on the farm. So now of course what's great about double planting trees, well, number one, lots of advantages. You can get them in a smaller space, you can get two different varieties together, you ensure cross-pollination, so there's a lot of advantages. And of course the advantage to having a tree specifically as a pollinator for another tree is you still get fruit on it. So now when it comes to plums, my favorite plum, especially here in the desert, and I think the gold standard for plums in the Southwest, would definitely be the Santa Rosa plum. However, this Burgundy plum has been in the ground now for 2.5 years. So we planted it along with the pluary. Got this tree from Greg Peterson in his Urban Farm Fruit Tree program, and the tree actually is doing really, really well. So now the tree, it's actually being blocked. As you can see, we're here in the morning. It's not getting any morning sun at all, which is actually hurting the overall growth of the tree. The pluary, being this fantastic tree, is dwarfing this tree. So not getting sun, you can see here we're getting towards mid-morning, still not getting any sun. So this tree is only getting basically noon through afternoon sun, that's it. However, it's actually producing very, very heavily. In fact, Lori and I went through a few weeks back and thinned this tree about 50%, and it still has, goodness, probably 100 fruit on there that are all trying to ripen up here. So let's go ahead and take a little better look at the fruit itself. We're down here towards the center bottom part of the tree. One of the things about these trees, they'll produce lower on the tree because you have fruiting spurs and areas in here that are more mature that will help produce your fruit. So the majority of my fruit is actually down here in the first 3 to 4 feet of this tree. And you can see, even though we went through and thinned 50%, it is still loaded with fruit that's all ripening up here at about the same time. So lots of fruit in here. Now, one of the things about this tree is not necessarily, again, our primary focus as far as production, because Santa Rosa plums, again, in my opinion, is the gold standard for us here. However, I haven't had one of these before and want to try to figure out, hey, what's the best way to utilize the production on this tree? So what I'm going to do, let's go ahead and try to find a fruit. Another thing here too, we always talk about birds and bird pressure. One of the things I'm noticing with this tree is we're not getting a lot of bird pressure on this tree, which is very unusual because I've got this dark red fruit. And usually that would just be a kind of a dead ringer for your different types of birds, but it's not getting a lot of bird damage. So what I want to find is a fruit that has got a nice dark color and maybe even a little bird damage. You know what, I've got one right here. Let's go ahead and pull that. The fruit itself, you can see how it gets its name. Got just this beautiful burgundy color, really is beautiful. Little green there, which means it can probably use a few more days of ripening. But just a really, really pretty plum. As far as the size, definitely on the small side. Now this is a small tree, so I would expect that this is immature as far as production for this tree. I would imagine, as we've seen before on all of our other fruit trees, this fruit will get bigger as the tree itself starts to mature, and this is the first harvest that we're getting off of it. So pretty small, probably about the size of a ping pong ball, maybe a little smaller, but I'm gonna call it ping pong ball size. So now the plums. So plums typically are a freestone or semi-freestone fruit. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and cut this open. Let's see what we have. There we go. All right, so yeah, definitely an immature fruit. You can see not a lot of red color in there, which is what I'm looking for in this particular variety of plum. You can see it's starting to get red there, but probably not completely ripe. These fruit, I'm expecting them to be nice and dark. Now, the nice part about plums, I am gonna try it here in a sec, but the nice part about plums, these plums can be removed from the tree essentially now, put on the counter, and they'll ripen over a few days and get that nice dark red color that I'm expecting in a plum like this. But you know what? I've got this off the tree. Let's go ahead and try it. You know what? That's not bad. So, okay, so definitely not completely ripe because I'm still getting a lot more tart than I think I would typically get from this fruit. Again, I think what I'll do is actually take the fruit off of this tree, make sure I'm not going to get bird damage, and use these maybe for some type of alcoholic beverage. But ultimately, pretty good taste. So let's see. So plums, you know, if you get a plum not quite ripe, you get a sweet, tangy kind of flavor. It definitely has a sweet, tangy mix, probably a little more on the tangy side. You know, one of the things I'm noticing, a lot of times when you get plums have a very, very tart skin. And this one, you know what? That skin is not real tart. It's got maybe a little tiny bit of bitterness, not bad, but I'm mainly getting that tart, sweet plum flavor. I'll tell you what, pleasantly surprised with these Burgundy plums, especially from one that's not completely ripe. So not bad. All right, so Burgundy plums, I'll tell you what, the production on this tree, I'm already very, very impressed. You know, I think this is going to be one of those trees where we're going to find different uses for the plums. I know the Santa Rosa plum is a far superior tasting plum, so it definitely would still continue to be my go-to as far as what I want to grow here for flavor and production when it comes to plums. However, great pollinator for our pluary, which tastes amazing, and the fruit, I'll tell you what, is actually pretty good. So just want to thank you for joining us today. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. Instagram and Facebook, we post content there you won't see here on the YouTube channel. Questions or comments, leave them in the comment section down below. And our Amazon page, I'll leave a link down below. Free, painless way to help support the work we're doing here is just start your shopping there. Doesn't matter what you buy. You help to support what we're doing here. So just want to thank you for joining us today and remind you, if we can farm on the edge of nowhere, so can you. Okay, so it comes off. I got a bonus.